Today's video is going to be a big one, and that's not me joking. Do I look like I'm joking? This one is got a lot of juicy bits in it, and something which I'm not seeing people talk about. The UK in the past year has seen more cyber attacks than ever. I have all the statistics and data from every single article on every major breach that's occurred only in the last year. From schools to healthcare to cars to even retail, I have all of them. Going to lead into the answer of our question: is the UK in a cyber epidemic? Before we get into this video, please consider subscribing. I've been working on this video for a while, collecting everything ready and in preparation to create this video for you guys. So please consider subscribing, and without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So when I say cyber epidemic, what do I actually mean? Well, I mean widespread cyber attacks. Throughout the UK, it's been nothing short of just bombardment of cyber attacks in the last year. And that is not me exaggerating it, because it's been hitting every single industry. Now, all the data I have here currently are suggesting that this is getting worse. And, this is data from the government, from retailers, from every industry that's been hit. Nothing suggests that it's getting any better. Here we have the official statistics of cybersecurity breaches and survey in 2025, and is updated in 19th of June. Take this as a baseline because there's a lot more cyber attacks which have occurred from then until now. In this survey, it went through how many UK businesses were actually hit in cyber attacks, and it's actually very shocking. In fact, just over 4 in 10 businesses, 43%, and 3 in 10 charities, 30%, reported having experienced any kind of cybersecurity breach in the last 12 months. Now, I want to emphasize the word reported, because there's a high chance as well that a lot of those businesses didn't even report the incident whatsoever. Now, all of that equates to about 612,000 UK businesses and 61,000 UK charities. Having 43% of businesses and 30% of charities getting hit with cyber attacks, and that's not including all of the attacks that we've seen since summer to all the way until winter, that is insane. And most of the time, these companies getting hit are businesses which are providing value to other people. They're not like your average, chicken shop getting hit. Here's where it gets worse. Because yes, you have small companies getting hit, and they'll pay out probably $1,000 or $1,500, around that area ballpark, depending on the breach. But medium to large businesses is where it's hurting the UK economy. It's much higher for medium businesses, 70%, and large businesses, 74%, getting hit with cyber attacks. Here are some of the major industries which are being hit. From information communications, real estate, professional, technical, finance, all of these industries are the ones which are targeting. Like I said, it's these major ones which they are after, the ones which they can extort for money. They're not going to go for your local chicken shop, because boss man probably doesn't have, £10,000 sitting there ready to give. And what information are they going to get out of that? Now that I've put it into perspective, how many businesses are actually getting hit and how common it is, let's go through what scams, what attacks they're actually doing. Now, it's probably the most obvious one of phishing attacks, which was experienced by 85% of businesses and 86% of charities. Now, it doesn't surprise me that phishing scams are in abundance here, because they're the most easiest. People are falling for them, and they can be done on a mass scale. You can send a phishing scam to one person, copy and paste it, and send it to another. However, that may be true for smaller businesses, but when we come into the medium to large range of organizations, it becomes a lot more different. We start getting tailored phishing, and this is where it becomes a lot more difficult to, fight against. I'm trying to paint the picture of how a tailored phishing attack seems more realistic and more authentic, and that's why people are falling for it a lot more. Throughout the year that I've put together, that I think really emphasize who's actually getting hit. Because we can look at the industries, we can look at the healthcare, the finance, whatever it may be, but it's more than that. It's more than the private sector, and it impacts the public sector. In fact, probably even worse. So let's start off with this one. Southern Water, a water company, which is actually essential to literally everyone. Without water, you're probably screwed. And they were hit with 5 to 10% of their customer base was notified that their personal data might have been impacted in a cyber attack. Then we go down and then we have a school all the way in Essex where their IT systems were compromised, leading to a critical incident where sensitive data was potentially accessed by unauthorized individuals. And it affected students, parents, and staff, names, addresses, medical notes, and so on, sensitive information. And things like this, you're including young children's data being out there, which of course is insane. That should never be happening, but in our world it is. And it's not just schools, it's also the NHS, it's also Transport for London. Most of the public sector is a target for these cyber criminals. When you're targeting the public, that's where it gets serious. Like I said, the NHS, Transport for London, schools. This is where it starts to get a lot more serious because you're involving everyday people's data. You're involving the disruption of transport. You're involving the disruption of healthcare. Things like this are going to end up causing and impacting people's lives. You're trying to get to work and Transport for London is down because, they've been hit with a cyber attack. You're late for work now. It's closed for a good few days, and that affects millions of people. Then you go to the NHS, they've been hit with a major cyber attack, their IT systems are down. The impact right there alone is insane. And in my eyes, if they're going for the public sector, it's not really for money. It's more for causing disruption. Because there's a lot more money, let me tell you that, in the private sector. Just look at this. A third-party lab services provider which works with London hospitals was actually attacked in 2024. And it costed the business £32.7 million. Their profit is only 4.3. So like you could imagine, they faced in serious amount of financial stress. While that company is private, in turn it will affect the public because yet again it works with hospitals. All of these were at the start of the year. Everything I've gone through right now have been at the start of the year. What about middle of the year? What does it look like there? Well, that's where it started to get a lot more serious. That's where we started seeing the M&S hack, wiping over £500 million in market value and costing them millions of pounds in damages. Then we had the recent Land Rover attack, disrupting the car industry and costing 200,000 jobs and impacting them, making sure that they basically can't work. To the point where the UK government had to intervene with a £1.5 billion loan guarantee to actually save the company. And that's not including companies like Co-op, like Harrods, and so on. I think it's tough to answer, but when you look at all this data and all these statistics, it's not hard to come to the conclusion that maybe we are, and we're not realizing it. Most of the time, it's not through the actual company itself, and more so through the supply chain, through other companies that major company will work with. That's what leads to all the disruptions and weaknesses. When you have those links between businesses, that link can be abused and manipulated to enter into the major organization and therefore cause problems. Whether that's with the NHS, whether that's with a private company, it doesn't matter. That data there is insanely sensitive. That means it has a price. And when it has a price, it can be leveraged for other people, such as these hackers. That's it for this video. I literally tried to cover all of the major topics and try to form it into one video for you guys. But there's so much. There's so much to go through here that I would have to sit here for another hour trying to record it all, because it's so much content, so many breaches and articles I've been going through that I could speak about this for days. So if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. Please let me know down in the comments what you guys think. Where do you think we are going? And let me know, because I read all of your comments. And yeah, without further ado, I'm going to head off and hopefully see you in the next video. Goodbye.